Where's
obviously.
Brian?
Where's Brian? It's the Rick and Bruce show this morning. We are here substituting for Brian, who's doing a little family time. Took a long weekend. Went to see some family folks up in the Northeast. So we wish him safe travels.
Would that be Joyzy?
I think it'd be Joyzy or what? Someplace in Pennsylvania, I think. Right? Someplace in Pennsylvania. Anyway, Bruce and I are here this morning to hopefully entertain you, talk about a few things, talk about some statewide stuff, kind of put that primary runoff to rest, and then talk a little bit about the upcoming gubernatorial chase, if you will. We would be remiss this morning. We got a big week coming up, don't we?
It's a huge week.
It's a huge week for Bruce and myself, and our good friend Jane Whaley is celebrating a birthday today.
Happy birthday to
you, Janie is. We are all celebrating birthdays this week. We won't bore you with all the details, but yes, the three Musketeers from Friday.
Bada bing, bada boom, bada book.
That's right. The three Musketeers from the Friday All-Star Panel group. Look at the picture up there. Look at the three of us. You pulled the picture up. Anyway, the three of us are celebrating 70 years on this earth. All within a week's time. So we'll.
Jane's 20 and we're 15 and 15.
That's it. I don't know if that adds
50.
up. That doesn't add up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we never took math together either. Bruce and I have known each other for a long time, as we've talked about before. So, we won't bore you with those details anymore. But suffice to say, we've known each other for well over 60 years, I think it is. And we're still sitting next to each other after all this time.
There we go.
Anyway, happy birthday, Jane. We'll do some celebrating tonight together. We're going to plan on a little birthday dinner, so we look forward to seeing you.
Absolutely.
And again, Brian, safe travels. We're happy we're here. It's Monday, gang, and it's Fetcher News, FYN. North Georgia's only live broadcast, so we want to make sure we talk about that. Amanda's at the helm today. She's taking care of us back there in the control booth on the third floor. Amanda, can you tell the folks how to reach the show and get a hold of us?
You can reach us at 706-889-9700 and email us at chief@fetchernews.com. Find us on Twitter at FetcherNews, at FYNTV, at Team FYN Sports.
Excellent. Thank you, dear. Thank you.
So we're going to go statewide. We're going to go nationwide. We're going to go worldwide.
There you go.
Hey.
We're just going to cover the earth like Sherwin-Williams paint. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, where do you want to start?
I think local. Let's talk about Stacy and Brian.
Stacy and Brian, we had the opportunity to chat with the Republican candidate for governor last Friday. He was kind enough to call into the show. We chatted with him about the upcoming race, and I think he acknowledges, rightly so, that this is going to be a tight race. It's going to be watched from a national perspective, because you've got a candidate that would be a first time ever African American female governor, right?
Yes.
In a red state, no less. So, give me your thoughts on that, Bruce.
Well, I think it's going to be, as you said, very close. Stacey Abrams is the candidate for the Democrats. She's a Yale graduate. She's
Yale law degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's currently in the House of Representatives.
Well, she was.
Oh, she's no longer
She
there.
was, yeah.
Okay.
She was a minority leader of the House of Representatives, and she was in office from 2011 to 2017. I've got a little bio information here. I don't have all of this committed to memory.
And yeah, she's had, by all accounts, a highly supported career as a politician by a lot of outside forces from outside of Georgia. She's gotten big money in the past from George Soros. Rumor is she's getting even bigger money from him this time around. And the opponent, the Republican, Brian Kemp, as Rick mentioned, is going to have his hands full with this. I think it's going to be an interesting dichotomy between a progressive approach from Ms. Abrams and a much more conservative approach from Brian Kemp. So how do you see this playing out?
Well, I mean, she had a political career in here. She's got, I mean, she's an interesting study. I mean, she's very well educated. She's very well connected, as Bruce said. She worked for a prominent law firm here in Atlanta, in Georgia, Sutherland Asbill and Brennan. Her focus was on tax-exempt organizations. And, you know, she's comes from a large family. They grew up in, I think they grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, boy.
And her parents then moved to Mississippi. Then
not a hotbed of red politicians. Certainly not Madison.
Came over to Atlanta. She went to Avondale High School. She was the first black valedictorian at Avondale High School, and she's got a degree from Spelman. She went to University of Texas Austin, and she got her JD from Yale, like Bruce said. So she's very well accomplished, and this isn't the first time that Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams have kind of gone after each other. Stacey, when she was in the House of Representatives and Minority Whip, started a New Georgia project, the New Georgia Project, $10 million plan to double down on voter registration. So she's very well connected. There was a lot of pushback at the time because of illegal voter registration. The candidates in 2014, Michelle Nunn and good old Jason Carter, who got hammered, they were looking for a lot of new voters, and it just never materialized. And there's a lot of I think a lot of Democrats at the time were asking, "Where's the dough? Where did all that money go?"
Well, I mean, did she? Her organizations funded that race?
Well, George Soros gave her $500,000 back in 2014. So George Soros is not a newcomer to Stacey's funding either. He just pledged another $1 million.
That's the number we hear.
Yeah.
So is that meddling in our elections? I mean, George
meddling by a Hungarian immigrant.
Yeah, Hungarian. I mean, hey, we need an investigation. I think.
We need a full-blown investigation.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you said that. I didn't know her tax career or her law career was involved with tax-exempt organizations.
Yeah, right. She did. Yeah.
Interesting, because now there's a lot of controversy about her 501c3 and her 504.
Exactly. Voter Access Institute. Multi-year effort to substantially increase progressive power by focusing on voter engagement and mobilization. So
Georgia now is that like being revitalized for her campaign now?
Being revitalized, yeah. They want to put offices out there. They want to get. They want to support the candidates for statewide seats, and they've been trying years and years and years. There's I don't know how many voters that have never really signed up and they don't go to the polls. There's a 1.5 million. It says unregistered voting age residents, and as many as 900,000 being minorities. So, if they got those all converted and they all voted, that'd be a big number.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, you've been in Georgia a lot longer than me. I mean, are people just sort of ebbing and flowing depending on the candidates and the issues at the time?
Apathy, yeah. I think the only time the state really got energized was when Barack Obama came in. And incidentally, Barack Obama spent less in the state of Georgia than Stacey Abrams has been raising to try to get the voter turnout going. So,
do you think we'll see Barack Obama stumping for her?
Well, that could be. You never know. Yeah, that could be.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Lose my ears?
You lost your controller.
There I go. Anyway, well, we're gonna see how that all plays out, but it should be a real interesting race. They've already started running ads, haven't they?
Yeah, I've seen a Brian Kemp ad already, and again, highlighting on the support that Ms. Abrams has from Nancy Pelosi. I just don't know how to put into words the things she keeps coming up and saying. I mean,
Nancy?
Yeah. And
Nancy's
also,
the gift that just keeps on giving, folks, to the Republicans.
Yeah. I mean, she keeps putting her foot in her mouth and biting it off. She's up to her knee now. But,
she's got open borders on her mind now. It's the open borders, Nancy, and then she's got support from Hillary too, doesn't she?
Yes, that's the other thing in the Kemp ad, that Hillary has put in a big word for her, and again, along the lines of a historic election, first minority female governor of any state in the U.S.
What do those three ladies have in common? Let me tell you what they've got in common. They all can raise money, apparently.
Well,
Pelosi,
Nancy Pelosi is like fairly wealthy all by herself with her husband. I mean,
right, but I mean,
she does raise money too.
I mean, that's why I think they keep her around, because she can raise money.
Yeah, Hillary, we don't know.
Hillary, well, whether it's legal, whether it's illegal,
but
I don't know.
Interesting. I mean, she has a foundation, so it would fit right in with the whole 504, 501c3 tax exempt organizations.
Yeah, exactly.
So, tax advantage.
Funny how that stuff works, huh?
Yeah, indeed.
Kemp is going to do well. There's no question. Kemp is going to do well in everything that surrounds Atlanta. I mean, let's look back.
We just got something from a viewer basically making the point that we need to clarify that Stacey Abrams was in the Georgia House, not the U.S.
Yeah, Georgia House. Yeah. Georgia House. So absolutely.
Let's just be clear on that.
Yeah, Georgia House from 2007 to 2017, and she was the minority leader from 2011 to 2017. Did we say the U.S. Senate?
I don't know. We maybe flubbed it or just talked over it. But
it was Georgia.
Georgia House.
Georgia. Thank you.
And did she represent a certain district that's around Atlanta or outside of Atlanta?
Let's see. 89th District. Member of the House, Georgia House of Representatives from the 89th District.
Do we know what that covers?
We don't.
We don't. Maybe we can.
Do we care? No, we don't care. No, we probably should care.
And do we have any polls yet?
Okay, here we go. The 89th District includes portions of the city of Atlanta and unincorporated DeKalb County, covering the communities of Candler Park, Cedar Grove, Columbia, Druid Hills, Edgewood, Highland Park, Kelly Lake, Kirkwood, Lake Claire, South DeKalb, and Tilson. Abraham served on the following committees: Appropriations, Ethics, Judiciary, Non-Civil, Rules, and Ways and Means. So
there you go.
Yep.
Do we have any idea where the polls are right now? Is there anything you've heard or seen?
No, I have not heard any. I haven't looked anything up in the polls. Nothing. Okay.
Maybe we can check on that and get back later.
We can check on that at a break. Where they are. I think. Early on, they're going to call it, they're going to call
dead
it
heat.
Dead, neck and neck. Which brings me to another thing that I wanted to talk about. Maybe we can finish this segment up by talking about polls in general.
Okay.
Are polls even relevant anymore? I mean, do they... you look at the polls from the 2016 presidential election.
Yeah.
And, until maybe 2 days before, they had Hillary running away. Mm-hmm. Her own independent polling, I think, that, just shocked her that Trump could even come close to winning.
That's the thing. You never hear about the internal polls. Unless they're way ahead or something like that. Generally, if it's close or internal polls for the candidates show their opponent gaining on their something, then they tend not to talk about those at all. So, but the big public polls that are released, Rasmussen, NBC, Wall Street Journal, they're talking the 1,400, 1,600, 900 people.
And what kind of sampling is that? You look at the fine print all the time. You literally can make a poll say anything you want it to say.
Exactly. The wording of the questions and the choices, sometimes not even a yes or no, indicate your preference. Well, what does that mean? So I agree with you that polls can be highly misleading as opposed to highly accurate.
You know, there's so much animus and so much distrust and so much hate and so much partisanship anymore that there's a lot of people that don't even want to express an opinion.
Yeah.
They won't put a yard sign up. They won't put a bumper sticker on because their car's going to get defaced or their yard's going to get trenched or trashed.
Nothing like a car that gets keyed. That's brutal. That's just brutal.
No stickers for you, huh?
No stickers for me, Jerry.
We're all in sticker shock here, folks. Now, I mean, it's true. People, until they get behind that screen or they get inside the confines of that voting booth, you don't know.
Yeah.
And, the exit polls, they'll come out, they'll say something totally, oh, well, I support this guy.
Yeah, I think they even, kind of mess around with that, too.
Yeah.
As they're walking out. But
years past, the pollsters used to get, excuse me, random landline calls.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has a landline anymore, folks. There's more cell phones by accident than there are landlines
Yeah,
anymore.
and access to cells is a little bit more restricted than landlines, so...
Yeah, do you answer your cell when you say unknown number?
And usually when it's from Jamaica, I don't answer it either.
What do you mean? You won the lottery, don't you know?
Oh!
All you've got to do is give them your banking information.
Yeah, you won the lottery in Nigeria. Send $100,000 to get your million. I don't think
right.
No.
Oh, me, anyway.
But the point on polls is interesting because just this morning I saw something on the TV that 51% of Democrats support a progressive plank in their party. 51%. I mean, if that's a true number, that just bodes so well for the Republicans that anyone would really want to have a progressive plank, with free health care for all, free college for all, income sharing, higher taxes on high-income individuals. I mean, that would be the death knell of this country, in my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, well, the polls, I don't know. We'll beat that to death, but I just don't think the polls are accurate anymore, folks. I just think that you try to separate the fake news from the real news.
That's the other thing. If you put the polls next to the mainstream media that's throwing all this shade, dirt, disinformation on anything Trump, I mean, you get the same effect. How can you believe anything they say?
You can't even believe Twitter anymore with the shadow
banning.
Yeah.
Shadow
banning the a lot of the right wing leaning tweets are that never see the light of your screen, if you will.
Yeah, they get shunted out to the dark box wherever that is.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's the algorithms. Don't worry.
Anyway, we're selling. We're celebrating birthday week here, so we're going to be happy campers this week.
Indeed.
Jane, again, happy birthday. Brian, if you look for Brian this morning, Brian is traveling, and we'll be back tomorrow with a fresh face and probably a fresh perspective. Brian's going to come back with all kinds of ammunition to support these stories he's been telling us, folks, about making the All-Star team. Making the All-Star team as a younger member.
Oh.
So we got. I mean, he sent me the picture.
Let's hold our breath on that.
He sent me the picture to show. Now I don't know if the fix was in. I don't know if his dad got together with the coach. There's some rumor about that.
Was this Park District or traveling?
This was the come together. This was the big deal. This was the qualify for the Little League World Series.
Oh boy.
Yeah. They didn't, but but anyway, we're going to cover some other stuff as we cruise through the morning here. We've got Amanda at the controls in here. Again, we are live from the office this morning, Bruce and myself. We're happy to be here. We're happy to cover for Brian whenever he wants to take a break.
Or needs to take a break.
Needs to take a break, yeah. Brian usually comes in on Monday morning and he tells you all about the lead-in from the Sunday shows. What did the Sunday shows talk about yesterday? Well, let's see. I can tell you that the lead-in on Chris Wallace's show, Fox News Sunday, they led with the 4.1 GDP. They led with tariffs. They led with the Fed rate. The other shows all led with Cohen and Russian spies. So,
gee, you think?
Yeah. I mean, where do you go? Where do you? We're jumping a little bit around.
Well,
here,
it depends if you want something salacious and gossipy, or if you want something is a little bit more meaningful. So I think Fox News Sunday basically leads with some things that have some meat on it. Cohen.
Something that the other networks don't even touch.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
they diss.
Yeah.
4.1. Is not sustainable. It's like a flash in the pan. It's so what? There was one quarter in Obama's administration they hit 4 point something.
3 of them. This would have been 4th in the line of Obama's.
Yeah.
And
but then on the other side, I mean, all the stuff with Cohen and the Russian spies. I mean, people are getting so tired of that.
I really think they are.
Oh, I know they are.
I mean, they opened this morning on. God, I hate to even report that I did this morning, but I got up just like Brian does. I got up at 6 o'clock and I watched the lead-in.
I'm glad you did.
To MSNBC. Oh my goodness! The drama on that set. It's just amazing to watch Mika, if you can, rolling her eyes and throwing her head around.
Is it real or is it fake? Drama, I mean.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, they're talking about the blue wave is back. 42 seats at risk. And,
based on what? The blue wave is back based on what?
Yeah.
I mean, but
because they say so.
Oh, okay.
Because they say so. It was painful. But, Brian reports on all the shows on Sunday. And, again, you don't see anything consistent. Nobody's reporting about the good things that the president's doing. All they want to talk about, speaking of percentages, we talked about this on Friday. 95% of the media coverage on all the other channels other than Fox, and I'm not saying Fox is the end-all gang. They've got their issues. Fox is Fox. But at least they try to be fair and balanced. And I'm sure that someone's jumping through the screen right now saying, there's no way that they're fair and balanced.
Yeah.
But at least they report some of the stuff that, is making the country great again. Or keeping the country great.
Well, I mean, with their new owners, Rupert Murdoch's kids, they've moved a little bit more towards the center, if you will, away from, maybe right of center. But, they have a few people on there that, say some things that could get them on any of the mainstream networks as well. But, yeah, I think you're correct. By and large, they tend to be a little bit straight down the chute. And the other guys are like, way out in the weeds. I mean,
Yeah,
it's terrible.
So again, like all they covered this morning on Joe was the first opening was they got they got a little Cohen coverage, and then they go in on 99 days till the midterm, and Mika started rolling. Oh my God, are we going to have that again? Joe said, no, that's a good thing. This is a revitalized blue wave.
Yeah, and then they go with Cohen, and there's 99 more tapes. Most of which don't say anything about Trump. So. And pictures of Cohen walking down the street with his kid or his associate or whatever. I mean, come on. Everyone is really getting tired of it. I mean, there's other things that are more important. Yeah. We'll have some tidbits later on really important stuff.
Yeah, we will.
You won't believe some of it.
You won't believe some of the important stuff we've unearthed. Anyway, well, it's what, 8:25?
8:26.
We've been rolling around here for a while here. So why don't we pay some bills? Why don't we take a quick break? We really would like you to come back, support the sponsors here that make FYN TV possible. And again, we're delighted, Rick and Bruce are delighted to be here this morning. substituting for BKP. There is no substitute for BKP, right?
No, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, all you can do is just fill the seat, but you can't.
And a possible all-star.
Fill the void, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, BKP the All-Star. We'll come back to that.
What position did he play?
Yeah, I don't know if they parked him in right field or what.
Power-hitting right fielder.
Yes. I wonder what his music would have been. You know how they play all the music for the baseball players?
Oh, the intro music?
Yeah, the intro music, Anyway.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on that. We'll come back and, when we come back, let's touch a little bit on a lighter note. Now that we're talking baseball a little bit, let's congratulate the All-Stars that were enshrined in Cooperstown yesterday and what kind of careers they had. So, Amanda, if you will take us to break, we will be right back.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge, we have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
The Tupelo Tea mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's T-E-A-S. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
It's Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and we're giving you a payload of savings. Now save up to $13,000 off new Silverado Crew Cab LT. And with Days Payment Vacation, make no payments for 90 days. Or save up to $7,400 off new 2018 Chevy Equinox. It's Truck Month in the mountains. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper today. The North Georgia Mountains #1 volume Chevy dealer.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Hey, we are back. Back after that commercial break.
Thank you to all our sponsors.
Yep, delighted to be here. If you're just tuning in, this is not BKP. This is Rick and Bruce, better known as the All-Star, part of the All-Star panel.
Two-thirds of the All-Star panel.
Two-thirds of the All-Star panel. The other members home, hopefully watching, celebrating her birthday, and we're going to celebrate with her this week as we celebrate ours. So, again, we touched on a lot of stuff in the first half hour. We kind of honed in on background for gubernatorial Democratic candidate Stacey Abrams
for Georgia.
For Georgia, Brian Kemp is a guy like I said we talked to last Friday. We know him a little bit better. He's called into the show. But for some of the viewers that really don't know some of the background, why don't we just touch a little bit on his bio?
Sure. You have that in front of you.
Yeah, he currently Secretary of State. He assumed office in January of 2010 as Karen Handel stepped down from that position to run for governor. And he was preceded then by Karen Handel. He was appointed to the position by Sonny Perdue. He's a native of Athens, Georgia, and he's a product of that area. Graduated from Athens Academy and the University of Georgia, where he obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in agriculture. His wife Marty also attended Athens Academy, was cheerleader at UGA. They're active members of Emmanuel Episcopal Church, and Kemp was son-in-law of the late longtime Georgia lawmaker and Athens insurance executive Bob Argo, small business owner working in a variety of areas. Couple of things to touch on. The Secretary of State's office, and I'm sure it'll come out in some of the ads, had a data breach scandal in 2015, which cost quite a bit of money to the state taxpayers.
To get it fixed.
To get it, yeah, legal fees, credit monitoring services, all of the stuff that goes with those data breaches. So I'm sure they'll run with that hard. But
what was the background of that? How did it happen? I mean, did they get hacked by some outside party, or
they compromised voter information of 6.2 million registered Georgia voters?
Ooh.
Yeah, the office was not aware of the breach until November 13th, and it happened October 13th, and didn't even acknowledge it until the AJC, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, reported the class action lawsuit against the office as a result of the data breach. So they had credit card monitoring services, they had legal fees. So it cost, like I said, $1.6 million. So,
but I imagine there's still litigation going on. Nothing happens that quickly.
You know, I don't know. I know that he's done a magnificent job of cleaning up the Secretary of State website. I mean, I'm on it all the time, you know, just checking things out and registering corporations and things like that. And I'm telling you, it's a breeze. It's a breeze to use. So he did a great job with that.
Well, he was known, you know, in the runoff with Casey Cagle. He was known to have some very interesting ads. Maybe you comment on that.
They made the national news. I mean, like I said before, this whole thing is nationwide in scope. Everybody's looking at that race. They looked at it as they looked at the runoff, and now they're focusing on, you know, the actual gubernatorial race. But yeah, he like Brian said, that he knows how to wear a pair of blue jeans. He just knows how to wear a pair of blue jeans. You know, he got his pickup truck, and he's got his guns. He's a Second Amendment guy. He's for protecting the borders. He's a states' rights guy. You know, he follows. He got a magnificent endorsement from the president.
Yeah.
That
the last week of the campaign.
That surely didn't hurt by any means.
What was he fond of saying? It's like putting gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a flair for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Play on words. But it's going to be an interesting race. He's, you know, there's no doubt that he's a conservative Republican that's got a solid following statewide, with the exception normally, as we always see, with the Atlanta area, which has a more Democrat left side leaning.
This sounds so much like our home state of Illinois with Chicago.
Geez,
exactly the same scenario.
Holy cow, yeah.
I mean, whatever happens in Chicago typically tilts the state, you know, one way or the other.
Yeah,
usually Democrat.
Anyway, good luck to I'll say both candidates. We appreciate their service. May the better candidate win.
I just have a follow-up point just related to this. I mean,
sure.
we went through this national attention thing with John Ossoff and Karen Handel. Remember, that was going to be the big breakthrough.
He didn't even live in his district.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, why is that? Why has Georgia become sort of like the area of focus?
They want to turn it. They want to turn it blue. They want to turn it blue. They want to turn it at least purple. It's been solid on a national scale. It's been pretty solid Republican.
Yeah, and I guess the whole block of southern states that were for years, decades, solidly Democrat, I mean, have pretty much all gone over to the other side. So I think anywhere the Democrats feel they can, pull one back, they're going to spend a lot of money and time.
There's going to be a lot of, there's going to be a lot of outside influence too. A lot of money's going to roll in, probably from both sides.
Yeah.
What's your thought? Do you think he's going to be able to talk the president or the vice president to come back? Pence campaigned for Kemp and Macon.
Indeed.
I
think there's folks that are working on getting them both back here.
Yeah.
Or Trump here maybe for the first time. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It would be, I think, a big lift for his campaign. And as we've seen, Trump is obviously not adverse to getting out on the stumps and working for local races. So could be interesting.
Maybe we ought to have a little fundraiser for him. What do you think?
Hey, works for me. But, Miss Abrams probably going to have the former president, Barack Hussein Obama, show up and do a little stumping for her. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun race.
Let's get Diamond and Silk in here. We won't go there, right?
Nah.
Now, anyway, we're gonna let's close that conversation out, shall we? I think we've beaten that horse enough.
And you're going to go on to a little round ball, huh?
Yeah, a little round ball. Back to Brian and his all-star campaign. We had some great ball players, 6 of them to be exact, enshrined in Cooperstown. Have you ever been to Cooperstown?
No, have not.
I have not either. I think that would be a fun
trip. Been nearby,
trip.
but not there.
I think that would be a fun trip to take and look. We've got our own Chipper Jones, one man, one team, Atlanta Braves, a North Georgia guy.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we see him around town. See him around the town of Blue Ridge a lot. See him at the marina.
Has a house on the lake.
He makes one of his homes is on the lake. I think he also has a home down in Texas. His biggest concern this year, folks, was whether his son was going to be born at the same time that he was being enshrined. And they've already named the son. They already know it's a boy. They already know his name is going to be Cooper. How convenient.
What's the linkage? I don't get it.
Anyway, there's some other guys that made it in. Jack Morris, a little controversy there. Jack Morris, if you look at the stats, they're kind of questioning whether a guy with an overall ERA and great career, no question about it. Jack Morris dueled against the Braves in the in a World Series. He and what's his name? Good old announcer. What does that say? You
lost your feed.
We've lost your feed.
Amanda, are we projecting well? We've got a
viewer that called in and said we've lost our feed.
So if you're looking at a screen and just hearing us, we're still here. We're working on the video. So
say again. Yeah, let's go to break. Let's take a break and check our feed, folks. Okay, never let it be said that we can't adjust here on the. We had the internet go down, folks, and we are sorry for that. Sorry for that short delay. But we are back. Bruce and Rick back at the helm. Amanda, thank you for taking care of those technical difficulties there. That happens when you're live. So, and we are live, aren't we?
Indeed, we are live.
Yeah, we've been live for a long time, folks. Anyway, we were before we got shortchanged. We were talking about the Cooperstown enshrinement, and I was saying that Chipper Jones was nervous about yesterday because he was afraid his son Cooper was going to be born. His wife is pregnant, obviously, and they're expecting any day, so that'll be.
So she probably didn't go up to the ceremony.
I doubt it. I don't think so. His parents
Okay.
were there. I know because I saw
Some of his other kids were there too, weren't they?
I'm sure they were, yeah. But there were five other ball players enshrined as well. We've got, if you didn't hear it before, we got Jack Morris. Jack Morris, a reliever from the Detroit Tigers at the time. He had a magnificent career. Some would say his ERA wasn't high enough to deserve enshrinement, but wasn't low enough to deserve enshrinement. But regardless, he is in the hall. Alan Trammell was a Tiger.
Shortstop. Yeah,
for the Tigers.
Tigers, yep.
Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero had a pretty much a West Coast career, I think.
Yeah, Dodgers and
Padres. Yeah, Padres.
Sorry.
Jim Thomey's a great credit to the game. If you've ever seen him play, he played for a number of years with the Cleveland Indians. I would assume he probably wore a Cleveland hat because he spent the majority of his time there. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. It's a feel-good moment. Jim Thomey's daughter sang the national anthem at the opening ceremony, and it was really, really touching. I mean, it brought tears to his eyes, and it was a really cool moment. And Trevor Hoffman, another reliever, he had a West Coast career too, didn't he?
I'm not sure. You know
Trevor Hoffman. I can't remember.
Those guys better than I do.
Yeah. So, congratulations to those 6 well-deserved ball players. They've had great careers, and proud to say that Chipper Jones only had one team in his entire career, and that was the Atlanta Braves. So,
Point of order. You keep saying enshrinement. Is it induction or is it interment?
Internment?
Internment.
I don't think it was an internment. That's when you take a dirt nap.
I just want to get straight.
I think they were enshrined and then inducted, right?
I don't know.
The inductees would be enshrined. Anyway, they okay. Let's put it this way.
They became part of the club.
Yeah, if you go to it's elite club too. You go to Cooperstown, you see a shrine to each one of these players. They've got memorabilia, they've got hats, they've got uniforms, they've got bats that were used, they've got baseballs that were of significance during their career.
Okay.
So I guess that's where the term comes from, that they build a shrine that people can come and.
So it's all like really nicely done.
Oh yeah. And they've got a locker there, and I mean I've seen pictures. I've never been there, but that's probably where the homage shrine comes from. Anyway.
Okay. But it wasn't interred.
No, it was not interred. Jeez, how did you come up with that?
Anyway, come in, go ahead.
Where do you want to go, Bruce?
Maybe we could cycle back to GDP, and again, the 4.1 number came out, and just a whole volley of opinion was unleashed, primarily from the Democrat and the mainstream media that this is not sustainable. It's a flash in the pan. Everything he does economically is like just torn down, and it's regrettable.
Do you think that there's any validity? Like you say, you know, the mainstream media is trying to tear him down. Do you think that there is any validity to the fact that China knew China knew that this was coming, so they stockpiled a lot of ag products, soybeans. And do you think that is that a valid criticism?
It maybe has some teeth to it, but again, there's so many variables at work here. The lower tax rate for businesses and folks, just a general pickup in the economy. Nonetheless, you know, all this other stuff, you know, was happening in a vacuum. I think the economy would still be growing. And then some of the things for businesses where they can expense things 100% now. I think that's going to even be a slower rollout because, you know, companies take a long time to make decisions on capital goods and things like that before they really spend the big dollars. So I think that's going to be kind of just pushing this out. And yeah, you can say the China effect, you know, had a one-time effect because of the tariffs. And actually, they are linking more of it now to tariffs, it seems. That like the threat of a tariff war is going to start to negatively impact certain industries. Not across the board. It's going to be spotty. But there's no doubt that some of the things with steel, aluminum, bourbon, farm products, things like that, will probably be negatively impacted. And as we talked on the All-Star panel, you know, for months now, how much pain can, you know, the U.S. consumer or manufacturer or producer take before it really gets brutal? And that's an unknown. I don't think anyone can answer that because some companies and people are going to moan early in the game, others are going to start moaning later in the game. So,
well, the one of the Koch brothers, I think, was quoted that the tariffs, if we get into a trade war, it's going to have a negative effect. It's going to be recessionary. Obviously, I'm not an economist, but Kudlow says that that's not going to happen. He's come out with some predictions that said we're going to have a constant, at least a 3%.
Yeah, he was very bullish over the weekend on this having like really long legs. So, you know, who do you believe, folks?
Yeah.
Who do you believe?
Well, I mean, we're hopeful that it has long legs, but I mean, this week is going to be telling. You've got 140 major companies, I think, this week that are going to have earnings reports come out. Mm-hmm. We're going to have July jobs numbers. We're going to have earnings reports. You know, it's going to be very interesting based on the massive hit that Facebook took, the massive hit that Twitter has taken.
Yep.
Social media has taken a hit.
Intel got knocked down pretty hard. Yeah, there's a number of companies that got knocked down. I mean, not so much that they maybe hit their earnings numbers, but their future guidance. Again, reflecting the uncertainty of what's going to happen with tariffs and whatnot. You know, companies are typically conservatively cautious, so they're not going to get way out in front of the crowd with wildly exaggerated numbers. So I think that's playing into the whole narrative that many of the pundits are saying, oh, you know, this is, you know, it's just got a lot of things that are going to poke holes in this. So we shall see. But I'm more optimistic, I think, than a lot of the mainstream media and the economists they drag in every time this comes out.
Well, they drag in this Goolsbee guy who was Obama's economist, and you know you'd think that we were on the brink of I don't know what.
Yeah, another recession.
And again, in his eyes, it's almost depressionary times.
Yeah, and he's reaping the benefits of, you know, what Obama did to turn the economy around. I mean, that's the other side of it. You know,
well, Trump's
that's just in the right place at the right time. Hey,
yeah.
Come on,
that's his tagline.
Yeah.
So,
no, I think you know there's going to be more to talk about, and you know the EU, for example. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people study this, but the European Union has something called the Common Agricultural Policy, and years ago when I lived in Europe, I mean, that was a huge number. It was over 80% of the EU budget was payments to the farmers and all the support they had. It's down now to only 38% of the budget, but still, I mean, that is a large number for the European Union budget. And that's all going to be in play with the discussions that they're having with Jean-Claude Juncker and his associates about reducing the tariff issue between the EU and us.
So tell me, how does that work? The government supports the farmer
through various programs of direct support or subsidized farm equipment or anything to help the farmers with sugar beets, grapes, wine.
Don't we kind of do that too, though?
Yes, we do. But I don't think it's, and again, I don't know the U.S. number as a percent of our budget, but I can almost guarantee it's nowhere near 38%. So
down from 80?
Yeah, almost 80. Again, this was back in the 1980s, so I'm dating myself. But anyway, it's a birthday week. It's a birthday week.
No one else will date him, folks, so he's got to date himself. I don't know. Anyway, so...
yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting subject as we roll on, and the jobs are I think down to pretty much historic.
How low can you go?
Yeah,
right?
You're going to maybe another 1/10% or something like that, but I think everyone's going to start obsessing about the GDP numbers and then what the Fed's going to do next, because there's already a lot of talk that Trump is not happy with the Fed raising rates possibly 2 more times this year.
Pence did a long show with Maria Bartiromo from the Fox Business Channel over the weekend. The 10 o'clock show, I believe, on Sunday featured Pence almost in its entirety, and they were gonna continue it this morning, and he was echoing what you just said. You were echoing what he said, and he was out there on behalf of the president saying there's really no need to, just because it's in the past, it was traditional. And they support an independent Fed.
Yeah, and they said that. I mean, when Trump said this last week about, I really don't like the Fed raising rates again, but he said, hey, they're the Fed, I'm going to let them do what they do. So.
Yeah.
But again, this is all tying in, I think, to the tariffs and growing inflation because of the recessionary effect, perhaps, of tariffs. There's going to be greater inflation, and so the Fed needs to stay on top of inflation because that's what they say their mandate in life is. So again, this all ties into these interconnected economic pieces and financial pieces that will keep the lead up to the midterms quite interesting.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, if if the numbers start to tank around that time, it could be tough sledding and no snow.
Yeah, and I guess there'll probably be one more GDP number before the elections. So, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, that could be, something that will attract or repel some voters, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Anyway, it's probably time for us to take another break here. We're gonna regroup after we get through the break here and go in a couple of different directions. Bruce has got some great insight into our old friend Stroke Smirk, right?
Stroke Smirk. That works for me.
Yeah, he's got some great insight into some family connections. I think
little deep state stuff here.
Yeah,
folks.
little deep state stuff. Not getting down the rabbit hole too far, but interesting connections on a lot of this stuff. So when we come back, we'll tackle that and we'll see what Bruce has got to tell us about Stroke Smurf.
Smurf. He's not a blue little thing.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we'll see you after the top of the hour.